In this video, we're going to check out Playbeat 4 by AudioModern, but before we get started, my name is Ed, you're watching Stokes Sounds, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you want to support the channel, head over to our website, stokessounds.com. Now let's dive in. So you can see here, I've got pulled up Playbeat 4. Now you'll also notice that on the AudioModern YouTube channel, I've already done a video kind of breaking down how to use it as a MIDI generator, but this time, we're actually going to play around with using it kind of in a real life situation, how I would approach it. Now what's really cool about this plugin is that it's using AI. Now I know there's a lot of kind of beef in the industry about whether we should be using AI or not, but I'm very much a person of like, you know what, times are changing, let's just go with new technology. It's going to change the game, it's going to change the way that we live, so we might as well just crack on and get involved with it. And that's exactly what AudioModern have done. They've created this amazing drum sampler which uses AI to help us as creatives to make new beats and new creative decisions that we can implement into our workflow. So as you can see here, we've got Playbeat 4 by AudioModern loaded up just in the default mode. Let's just take a listen and just kind of see what comes out of the plugin without me even touching it. So, you know, it's just giving me a typical kind of beat drum sampler kind of thing going on. So we're now using the AI technology within Playbeat 4 to give us some chill out, down tempo pop. Now let's see what it does. Now just to point out, it's really important that this is highlighted red. This means that the AI is enabled. If this is turned off, it means it's not gonna work basically. So you've got to make sure that the AI that's integrated within this plugin is turned on. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna hit this button here, which is just a randomize button. And this is just gonna take all of the information from the AI that I kind of prompted it with the downbeat, the pop, and it's gonna give me a beat that has those characteristics. So let's take a listen, just randomize it. As you can hear there, I was just using the randomize button and it was just giving me lots of different beats that I could, you know, go off and manipulate, which is really, really cool because it just helps us with, you know, the creativity side of it. Now, what's really cool is we've got this slider here. And this to me is basically, you know, if you slide it all the way up, it's going to make the drum rhythm more complex or the beat more complex. And if you put it all the way down, it's going to make it more simple. So this is more like, you know, simple and complex. That's kind of the way I look at it. So let's just try and drive this all the way up to 100% and let's just hit the randomize again, and you'll hear that the beats are more complicated than they were if I put it all the way down to the bottom, which we will do that as well. So that's cool. Now let's put it all the way to the bottom. And nothing is there, so we can bring it up just a little bit. So as you can hear there, it's just changing kind of how complex the actual rhythm is or the beat itself. So that's a really, really cool feature to have. You'll also see that we've got the pattern and we've got the sound. And what's really great is that we can click on the pattern and then we can randomize so we can keep the same drum sounds that we've got going on. So the same kick, the same snare, you know, the same beat, but we can just change the pattern only with the randomize. So let's try that now. I mean, this is awesome because it means if I like those drum sounds and I don't want to change those drum sounds, but I want to have a different vibe or I want to have a different rhythm, I can just select that pattern there, randomize, and then it only does the pattern. Now, let's say we like the pattern, but we're not too sure on the sounds and we want to change the sounds. We can go here, we can hit the sounds only, and then we can randomize again, and then we can just change the sounds, but keeping the same rhythm and pattern that is on here already. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible what you can do with this. And then if you hit the all, this is going to change the pattern and the sounds together. So if you're not sure on the pattern and you're not sure on the sounds, it means you can just re-randomize everything. And again, it's using the technology from the AI that we implemented at the start, which was the down tempo, chill out and pop. That was it. So again, we're using the AI technology to help us create a song. Now, let's say we like this beat. The next thing you'll see, we've got, the steps, which is basically the drum beat and the individual, the kick, snares, the hats. Then we've got the density, which is, where we can change the actual density of each individual part. We've got the pitch, so we can change the pitch of the drum sound as well to fit the track. We've got the volume, so we can change the velocity, so how hard, let's say we're using the kick drum, we can change how hard the attack, the velocity in general is going to be on, let's say, the kick or the snare. So we can really change that. And then we've also got the pan. So this, Playbeat 4 in itself has got so many ways we can manipulate the sound and tailor it to exactly how we like it. Now, if we take a look at the density feature, what's really cool is we can, let's say we've got the kick highlighted, we can then click on this button here, and this will randomize the density depending on where we want it in the pattern, but it's all based on this slider here. So if we make it more complex, you can see here, this is changing the density, but then if we hit this button again, you can see how it's adding more of the density on different parts of the pattern, which is really cool. So if we just take a listen. You can see how it just kind of changes it, a little bit more subtle and a lot less than it does when, this fader is all the way up. Now, if we go to the pitch section, let's go for the snare this time. You can see it's on C3. So what we can do now is we can drive this up if we want to, I don't know, F, and let's hear how that sounds compared to what it does on C3. So as you heard there, the pitch was changing, when I was scrolling this up and down compared to when the snare hit again later on in the pattern, you saw it had a different tone to it. So it's really cool that we can manipulate the pitch and get it to exactly how we like it in our track or whatever is going to work, for yourself when you use this. So if we just put this back to C3 like it was, double click, it goes back to the default mode. The next thing we've got is the volume, and that's really handy, when it comes down to velocity. If you want to get the ghost notes in or you want it to sound like a real drummer, this is kind of how we can manipulate it. The velocity is kind of everything when it comes down to drums, to get it to kind of have groove and to make it feel kind of right. So you can see here I've increased the kick velocity on beat 1 of every bar. You can see 127 100. So on every beat 1, the velocity of this kick in this pattern is going to be more emphasized and more punchy. Let's take a listen. So as you heard there, we were emphasizing the parts that I mentioned. Now, if we take a look at the pan section, you can see here we've got all the drums there, same again as before in the other sections, but you can see this time it all says CCC, which stands for center. If we go to some of the hats and just bring these kind of down all the way to the left 50, you can really hear what this is going to do. It's going to put these hats to the left-hand side of the speaker, panning them left as you would do in a DAW. So again, we can manipulate the panning of the drum sounds, which is just crazy. There's so much you can do within just one plugin, which is awesome. Double click, put it all back to center again, to put it in default mode. What's also really cool is if we click here, we can also change the presets of all the sounds. So, if we just go back a second, click on the kick because we didn't like the kick, we can solo the kick. Let's say we didn't like that kick sound, we could click here and we could replace it with a new different kick. Let's say, let's change the kick sound. Let's try this one. And then we can listen to that within the pattern itself. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the power you can do. And also we can go the extra mile. And if we click this button here, we can then even change the filter and the shape of the kick, again, all within Playbeat. So we can really manipulate the drum sounds to get it exactly how we want it. And then guess what? We can use less plugins when it comes down to mixing. And I'm a big believer that less is more. So the fact that, you know, producers or whoever's using this can really manipulate the drum sounds, you can really tailor to get exactly kind of what you want in the production. And then it doesn't leave it to people like myself to kind of do sound design on your drums because you've already done it within Playbeat 4. So that's really cool. So we can go here, we can change the filter, the resonance, so you know how kind of sharp on certain frequencies it's going to be. We can even change you know, the EQ curve on it as well. We can even reverse it, and then we could tune it. So let's just say that, you know, it wasn't quite fitting again the production that we had or the key of the song. You know, we can move this up and down and we can change the key. So if we have a listen with this up, you can hear how that's completely changing the sound of the kick. I mean, it's just incredible to be able to have all of these features in one plugin. Then what's also amazing is, let's say you wanted to have a breakdown in a certain section. Let's say it got to the middle A and you wanted to have a different kind of drum. You know, we can click on here. So this is all of them, or we can just have the kick only and click hold. And then this will give us just the kick only playing in that section, or we can take the hold off, go back to all, and it's going to give us the whole drum beat. Maybe let's try something different. Let's hold this one. So, you know, as you saw there, you know, I was holding certain ones. So basically, I was you know, activating either the hats or activating the snare only or the percussion. So again, we can just completely manipulate what, you know, pattern we want depending on where we are in the arrangement of the song. So, you know, things like this is just absolutely amazing to have, and that's under the sequences. So definitely check that out as well when you're using it yourself. And then the next thing, which is, you know, probably one of my favorite parts to always have, is it's got a mixer, and that means we can control, you know, how loud the kick is or how loud the snare is and all of that great stuff. And to me, that's really important, because sometimes when you get drum loops or you use other, you know, plugins, you don't always get that control. And to me, you know, you may want the kick louder in a certain section, or, you know, if you're working on hip hop, you know, you want the beat quite forward, and if you're working on pop, you may want it a little bit back. And so it really depends on the genre. But what's great about what Playbeat 4 is, they've added a mixer within the plugin itself. So it means if I play this now, I can really mix the drums, and then I can, you know, bounce out drum loops and then, you know, send it, you know, and get that kind of mixed with the volume settings that I decided that I wanted at the time. So just things like that is really helpful. So if we just take a listen. And then we've even got the master here as well, so we can get the balance we like. If we're, you know, peaking, we can just bring this master down. So there you are, that's just kind of the settings I went for. We'll just reset that for now. But as you can see, you can really manipulate and change anything and everything that you want within just one plugin. So that's absolutely incredible. And that is how I would use Playbeat for, you know, if I'm using it for production, you know, and I needed to get beats quickly, or just even to have influence and just kind of help with my creativity when it comes down to kind of making beats. You know, I think a lot of people, as I said in the introduction, you know, go against AI and they think, oh, you know, it's taking away creativity. But, you know, I actually think it's helping my creativity, because I'm able, with the help of the AI within Playbeat, I'm able to kind of get new ideas. And at the end of the day, you are changing, you know, what the AI has done for you. You know, I'm not sat here copying the AI, you know, word to word in that sense. You know, I am listening to what it's given me, getting inspired by it, and then changing it to how I see fit within the context of what I'm working with. So you've got to think of it from that point of view. And I think that it's an absolutely brilliant tool to have in your toolkit. So definitely check that out. And then lastly, as well as all that AI and how we can change it, you can see up here, it says empty at the moment, but they've also got presets and packs. So, you know, we can go through different presets. You know, let's say we didn't want to use the AI tools to kind of get the vibe that we wanted, and we just wanted to find a preset that we like. We can literally go through here, and you know, there's more presets on their website as well. Again, I'll leave a link to all of that in the description. But like, if we just go for this one here, a pop one, this is now a pop pack from them, you know, presets. So if we just take a listen to this, again, sounds great. Using the sounds, we can bring up the complexity. These are just all sounds that are within the pack that we chose on the preset. So that's definitely a thing to also take a look at as well when you get this. And this is how I would use Playbeat 4 in my workflow. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. And if you've got any questions, make sure that you leave them in the comments below, whether it's about mixing, production, or this plugin in general, then definitely do that and I'll get back to all of you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all again next week for another video.